like, just so everyone knows, if someone needs help, throw, don't go, throw this buoy to them and come find an adult immediately.
Welcome to Mom Meets World, a podcast talking all things motherhood, friendships, and life. We're your hosts, Alaina Brookmyer
and Peyton Saraiva. We have a lot of ground to cover, so let's dive right in.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Mom Meets World. Epic episode for you guys today. We had the owner of Goldfish Swim School, Dana, on the podcast today, and we covered all things water safety, water fun, talked a lot about how she got into swimming and a little bit about her swim school out in Gilbert, but overall just had a wonderful time getting to know another mom in the local Arizona area. What did you think about it?
Oh, I loved this one. I felt like Dana had really good energy and we just flowed and just had so much to talk about. And, we already touched in our conversation with her how there's just pools galore in Arizona. And obviously you live right by the ocean. So I think that just anyone and everyone can really take a lot from this episode with her.
Absolutely. It just felt great.
Yes. Okay. So fill me in on your week. What's been the latest in Peyton's life?
Yes. So things are good. Cooper is just all over the place, talking like crazy. He is just a ball of energy, which is so much fun. He's full swing. He's doing 3 days of daycare and thriving there. But a pretty big highlight for me was I was invited to the launch of this really cool lifestyle magazine called Salty Magazine here in the Yerba Dala, which is our local council, kind of our region. And so it was an awesome cocktail event I went to. It was on this beautiful winery yesterday. It's about an hour away, and it was just such a good time being around like-minded business owners and individuals who had a lot to say and share. It was an awesome panel event, great food. But I love going to events where no one's just kind of stuck talking to the people that they came with. Everyone was open, walking around, chatting with other business owners, and I was just blown away. Specifically just by there was a very strong female owner of Naruma Law, and she gave this just inspiring speech. It was such a uplifting, enriching feeling seeing someone just passionate about what they do and fighting their way into equality. And the Naruma Law team here is an all-female team, 5 women, and I just love to see the representation. And especially in a smaller rural town, to have such a strong female presence was so inspiring. And I left yesterday with my cup filled, my brain was turning on all new ideas for the podcast and for life, and it just was a really epic thing. I think going into it, if I'm being honest, we've all been invited once or twice to things. We're like, oh, darn, I have to do that, or got to dress up a little bit, or, oh, no, I have to put my social pants on.
Always.
And that was definitely me going into it. But I just know the second I got in the car, I was like, hell yeah, it's nice to get dressed up. I got to go with a friend, and it was just an overall amazing experience. So that was a pretty big win for me for the week.
That's so fun. And I saw on your Instagram stories, it looked like a beautiful spot that you were at. I'm like, where is this? Does someone live here? That's awesome. So it looked very classy and just beautiful. And I love those events that just ignite a little spark in you, So hold on to that. Remember all those tips and tricks that hopefully they shared with you, and we'll put them to good use.
Absolutely. Love. Thanks. But what's going on with you guys? Fill me in.
Oh, nothing too crazy. So I guess with me personally, the past week, which I've shared with you, but I'll share a little bit on here. And it's, at the end of the day, everything's good news. But I had a little quote unquote scare because at the very beginning of, I guess it was maybe 2 weeks ago now, I went in for my facial, poor me facial. And
no, not poor you. Well deserved.
I live a hard life. But anyways, she was giving me a little massage while a mask was on. So in the upper chest area. And she's like, Alaina, your left side feels a little different than your right side. And I'm like, huh? And so I'm not really good at giving myself my own breast exams. I don't trust myself. I kind of make up things in my head. So after that, I booked two appointments, one with my primary care doctor and one with my OB, just to have 2 different exams because I'm literally OCD.
Diligent. So, no, that's good.
So then I got that covered, and I wasn't too in my head about it, but I'm like, you know what? Let's at least just get this covered, cover all the bases, go through the process. And so both exams were like, there's something there, but I don't think it's anything worrisome. And, not to be TMI, but like I just have kind of lumpy boobs. So that's fun. So they're like, let's just get you scanned, play it safe. So I went and got I guess it'd be a mammogram, right?
Yeah.
And I texted my other girlfriends and one of them responded. I guess maybe she was next to her mom, so she shared the information, which is fun because they're family. So, but she's like, my mom just said, good luck. They smash them like pancakes.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh dear. Oh my God. And so it's my first one. And so I'm like, during the process in my head, I was like, man, she wasn't kidding. And so I went through that. Then they actually did an ultrasound on my breast as well, just to do everything. And then I got the results, or, the verbal result right afterwards. And she even told me, like, right in the little waiting area. And I'm like, you're not even going to pull me aside. And she's like, you're fine. You're normal. You're healthy. There's literally nothing. It's just
Beautiful.
Those are your breasts. So I'm like, oh, that's good news.
Oh, deep breath.
And it doesn't even run in my family. So, but the person who was doing my mammogram, that's right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So she was just like, she's giving me these statistics of like, it doesn't have to run in your family. Yeah, there's actually this high of a statistic that it doesn't, and it ends up being cancer. I'm like, cool, thanks. So,
oh, well, the breath of fresh air I felt when you said it was negative or benign or it wasn't anything was so good. And I can relate in a sense of like, so breast cancer runs in my family. So at 30 years old from now on, every year, I'm not mandatory mammograms, but they highly recommend it just with like the strong chances that it is a genetic. So my grandmother had breast cancer, had a double mastectomy, but then also my aunt had breast cancer as well. So it is in the family. And so it's just something not to be fearful of. You can't live life in fear, but it's also important to do those daily checks or those monthly checks or whatever. And I think I'm so proud of you as a woman to like, if you see something, say something, or if you feel something, just go ahead and get the check. We all have insurance or you pay for those exams, but what it takes to like ease your mind might be $100 exam fee, but at least like, okay, it isn't anything, or okay, I don't feel very comfortable about that. Let's just have a look at it. And that's why they're experts. So I'm so proud of you for doing that. And use this as a little reminder for anyone if you ever like feel something strange. And as I touch my boobs, if you're watching this on YouTube or on Instagram or Spotify, give a little feel, but also like, advocate for yourself. So proud of you for doing that.
Even if you're out on your walk listening to us right now, do a little feel. But yes,
I'm sure everyone just boop, boop, sound effects.
Just to make sure. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's like, because it's something that never really crosses my own mind, but it's always good to just like double check if there's any kind of question. So yeah, I am proud of myself for just moving forward with that too. And just to, cover all the bases and just get that peace of mind moving forward. So yeah, that is checked off. That is done. So it's good that to do your own checks at like your own rate too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, other than all that, moving forward from like just getting back into a routine from Disneyland. But, the weather out here in Phoenix is creeping up in the degrees. We're in the 70s and 80s now for the highs, and it's not even March. So that's fun. It's making me like, I'm excited. It feels really nice out, but I'm also fearful of the summer weather approaching too quickly. So that's in my head a little bit, but obviously we're taking advantage right now and I'm excited to enjoy it. But the pool, because we have a pool in our backyard, it's not warm enough from this warm weather. It obviously has to get warmer for longer, but we're still like enjoying time outside. But speaking of pool, we are about to dive right into our convo with Dana, which is really, really good. So I'm excited for that one.
All right. Are you ready to jump in?
Let's do it. All right. Today we are actually welcoming a guest. So excited for her. Welcome Dana Schuchardt. And she's actually the owner of Goldfish Swim School in Gilbert, Arizona. That is. And she grew up teaching swim lessons at the very first Goldfish Swim School that's in Michigan. So we were just chatting off air of like, she's got a little hint of an accent. So we'll pick up on that. We love it. And then she actually swam at the University of Arizona, now continues to be a community advocate for water safety. And then Dana is actually a mother herself. She's raising her 2 kiddos with her husband. And fun fact, we actually, Peyton and I, met through Goldfish Swim School ourselves. So we have that like pulling on the heartstrings a little bit right there in the Ahwatukee location. So welcome to our show. We can't wait to hear all of what you have to share.
Thank you. First of all, I'm obsessed with the fact that you guys met at Goldfish. That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
um, but yes, so happy to be here. So thanks for having me.
Oh, so happy to have you on the show. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Open the book, share with what makes Dana Dana.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I born and raised in Michigan, and I probably didn't find my love for the water until I was about like 6 years old. Until then, or up after that point, I was in competitive swimming, swam throughout high school, like you mentioned, also was an instructor at the very first Goldfish Swim School in Michigan. So that's pretty cool. It's been like just shy of 20 years and come like full circle. And now a husband, 2 babies later, we have 2 Goldfish Swim Schools of our own. So we've been very busy the last couple of years.
Sounds like it. And then how old are your kiddos?
So yes, we have a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son.
Ooh,
So
fun
similar to you guys,
age.
we're like
Yeah.
in the thick of it right now.
Whew. Yes,
But
it's
love
fun
it.
stuff.
Yeah,
In the
right?
thick of it, that's for sure. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yes.
That is so, so fun. And actually, like a little background of me, I grew up swimming as well. And I think I've shared it on the podcast before, but I was on the swim club for my city of Albany in California. Whoop, whoop, the
Woo!
small square mile of a city. Anyways, but I was on the swim club, and then I got so sick of it. My dad wanted me to stay in it and just for like exercise and to continue just like moving my body. So I think I was maybe age 12 or 13, and it was during the summer. And then he actually was like going to work. And so I was home alone doing swim class during the summers and stuff. And he would be like, Alaina, why isn't your swimsuit actually wet when it's hanging up in the bathroom? Like, didn't you just have swim today? And I'm like, Dad, I've been skipping. I don't want to do it anymore. I just got so burnt out. But like, I remember really actually loving it. And I was actually very good at it. I could still do some mean butterfly moves in the water.
Yes,
But
girl.
anyways, that's my little tie-in right there.
I love it. I mean, I absolutely love swimming. And figuratively, you know how it is. Like you tend to like things that you're good at. And so it just like
Yeah.
continued to like drive you forward. But I actually almost had a near drowning experience when I was 4. My mom got my sister and I in swim lessons like immediately after that. And I was like the child screaming bloody murder every week at swim lessons for probably like an entire year. So I feel like my story has also like everything is connected. I feel like I'm passionate because of my experience and like remembering those anxieties going to swim lessons, and now obviously loving the water and like hoping that everyone can find a love and respect for the water. So yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that near drowning experience at 4 years old.
yeah.
I mean, our listeners are moms, and that's like everyone's worst fears sitting here going, oh my God, what happened? How can we prevent it? But also sometimes flukes happen. So what happened?
Totally. So we were in North Carolina. We went to North Carolina almost every summer with family friends. And I was just playing in the water, like where it wades into the ocean. I wasn't doing anything dangerous. My mom said like she looked away for a second and I had like been pulled out from like the undertow and was like bobbing up and down. She like immediately ran in after me. She said she couldn't even touch when she had gotten to me and like swam us back into safety. So yes, as a mom now, I'm like, I can't even imagine how much you've been like must have been freaking out. And rightfully so. I'm so happy she put us in swim lessons immediately after that.
Yeah.
But I obviously was okay. But yeah, I mean, like talking about it now, it's like so crazy again as a mom. And like we have a pool now and we live in Arizona and there's so many pools. Like
in
my parents
house.
have a pool. So every house. So it's just so scary knowing it's like such a real statistic of like drowning. But yes, that's my drowning experience.
Oh my God. I
So
have one
crazy.
that's actually somewhat similar, like, but it was in a swim pool, maybe in Hawaii. I don't know. Gosh, how old was I? Maybe 6. I don't know. But I just remember my older cousin jumped in the pool after me. And I just remember kind of like bobbing my head up, like trying to catch my breath. And then he like pulled me over. So thank goodness it wasn't like in the ocean getting carried away like you were. Oh my God. But still,
I know, right?
that kind of memory. And that feeling almost just kind of sticks with you a little bit. So it's so important. I love
Yeah.
the fact that you're so passionate about like water safety, because no matter even if your house has a pool or maybe you don't live by the water, I think it's always important to like kind of get that basis going for young kiddos.
Oh,
I think that's kind
absolutely.
of, and I kind of think that's why Elaine and I went into swim lessons with our kiddos so early. Like my dad was a lifeguard growing up. And so he was so big on like, he saw a lot of people drowning or just like having the little floaties on. And then if a kid jumps in with the floaties on and they come off, like there's a lot of reasons why he was so advocating, like for us to get us into swim lessons early. And so when Cooper was born, Dad's like 6 months, you need to get him in the pool, start getting him in the water. And I think, Elena, how old were the kids when we put them at Goldfish to begin with? Like
Oh, I
maybe a
think Chloe
year?
was at, yeah, I was going to say at least a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys
Yeah.
were in the mini class together?
Yeah.
That's
That's how
so
we met.
fun. I love it. Oh,
And
so
Peyton
good.
like awkwardly invited Ben, my husband, and I like on a little dinner date right after class because it was like after work time. So maybe the class was at 5 or something. We went over next door to the little restaurant there, and we just all just connected and
Uh,
clicked, and just happened to us so organically.
yeah, that's so amazing, you guys. And Peyton, going off of what you said too, I feel like the earlier you start, the better. I don't know if you noticed this with your kids. Did they have any fear of water at that point when you guys started?
Not really. I don't remember too much of that.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that like grows and develops over those first like couple years of life. And so it's like the sooner you get them to like love the water and have that like good relationship with water, I would say the better. So good for
Yes.
you guys getting in lessons. We did the same thing too. And
Yeah.
obviously it's so fun. It's like so fun to bond with your baby. And sometimes my husband and I would fight who has to get in water. Let's be real.
I
But
feel
still,
that.
yeah, right. Such a good experience.
It's
So
also
are
And
your
another way
kids
to,
pretty
obviously,
comfortable in the water with you being so like on it and like consistent with it?
so this is so crazy. We've had two completely different experiences. Our daughter was very, very timid. Like she loved the water when we first started, but was very slow to like be independent and learn new skills. And now she is independent and like is obsessed with it. Where our son is doing things at age, like he just turned 2 and he's doing things our daughter didn't do until she was like after 3 years old. So they're like so different. And I feel like if anything, it goes to show that like your kids, they'll pick it up at their own pace and kind of like be patient with them. But yes, they both love the water now. And we'll see if anyone's a swimmer. I'm not sure. My husband played hockey. So he's like already getting our 4-year-old on skates. I can't even
Very
ice
different.
skate, sadly. Yeah.
I'm the
Very
same way.
different.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I cannot balance. Like, I'm fine in the gym and like doing single leg exercises, but put me on the ice. No, 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 no. Or a skateboard. No, thank you. But like, yeah, my husband's kind of into that stuff and a little adrenaline junkie. But kind of like pulling it back, like my daughter Chloe, she is just about to be 3 next month. And we were doing the baby classes. So we're, obviously the parents are in the pool with her. But as soon as we went into the next level, she like where we're not in the pool with her anymore, she like just flourished, and she's just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, totally bloomed and is just so independent and confident in the water, because she used to always want to hold my hand when she jumped off the wall into the water, but now she's just like bing bang boom, she's just all on her own, and I'm obsessed with it. She was even doing some backstroke with her instructor, and she was telling the instructor, who told me afterwards, was she said Chloe was telling her like, I can do it by myself, because she had her hand just like lightly on her back, upper back, like helping her float, and she's like, I can do it, just let go. So I
So
love that she's so
sweet.
confident, but it makes me a little bit nervous when it's
Totally.
summertime and we're going to get the kid out, like my girl, like by the pool with me and my husband, because she's a
But I
little
mean,
too, yeah,
I
comfortable.
know that's how I feel with our youngest too, because he's like the type that when he was in the mini lessons with us, he just like dive bombed in. He thankfully like sits on his fish kickboard and waits his turn now in the mini 3 lesson. But yeah, I am very nervous for him as well. But it's actually very good to know that like your kids understand hopefully their like buoyancy without life
Mhm.
jackets. Because I know I we have parents ask us all the time, like, should you wear life jackets? Should you not wear life jackets? And I feel like it's like a balance. Like they should know if they can or cannot swim, right? So they
Yeah.
don't have a false sense of safety, like jumping
Mm.
in, thinking they can swim because they always have like a floaties on of some sort. So like, yeah, it's a good thing. I feel like I'm sure Chloe knows, even if she's confident, she'll know what she can and cannot do. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about like the stages at Goldfish. Like tell us a bit more about the programs. What ages do you guys start, and kind of how do the kids progress throughout like the classes?
Yes. So we have our mini program. So that is for children 3 and under. We'll have the mini 1 and mini 2, which you guys were in, and those are your 1-year-olds in the first one and your 2-year-olds basically in the second one. And those are all about getting the child comfortable with the water, conditioning them in the water to go underneath the water, and doing a lot of repetition with those safety skills. So if they were to have fallen in, they know to turn around, they know how to hang on to the wall, they know how to do their back float, they know how to climb out. And then once your child is 2, you have the option of not swimming in water with them, which we are doing right now. And it is life-changing because our son also is doing so much more with the instructor than he ever did with us. And then that progresses into our 3 and 4-year-old program, which is our juniors, where they'll continue to learn those life-saving skills, but they'll start to also put together their strokes and their pulls and kicks. And then again, continuing to progress throughout the program, we have different levels for different ages. So age groups are swimming with each other. So you don't have a 3-year-old with a 6-year-old. So they feel comfortable in their class. And then the program continues on to teach all 4 strokes. So if you want to work on technique and your children already know how to swim, but they think they might need technique help, we can help with that. So it's fun to see. That's the stuff I also still love, is doing technique with some of our older swimmers to hopefully send them confidently on their way to like club swimming.
Love it. So then you're the owner, but are you also still teaching in the pool right now, or what's your involvement?
So I'm not on the schedule, but when I can get in the water, I absolutely love to. We have jumpstart clinics in the summer. So it's like a 4-day program, 4 days back to back to back. And I like teaching those. So you see the same kids every 4 day and you see how quickly they progress in those 4 days. So I'll hop in for like a jumpstart clinic or 2 in the summer and then sub as needed or hop in to work one-on-one with some of our swimmers that are trying to like finalize last skill before moving up. But yeah, it is like so rewarding and I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's hard to be there all the time, obviously, as you know, with kids. So it's a good balance that we have this. Yeah.
That's really amazing. What are some like life-saving tips or any suggestions? I mean, as Alaina was saying, and we all know in Arizona, everyone's got a pool, and like you want to trust your kid at your house, that you've got the gate up and you've got the sliding glass door that's got the lock on it and all those steps, right? But for example, your kid goes over to a friend's house, you're all, it's probably in the back of your head, do they have a pool? What are some like life-saving tips you could pass along to other parents or kids, or things that we should be drilling in our kids' minds?
Totally. So a couple of things that come to mind, like when you have a pool or if you know your child is going over to a house at the pool. Obviously, like you said, the barriers, having multiple barriers between the pool and your children, which again, you already mentioned. We talk about having like a buoy or something that your children knows where it is. So maybe it's just like by the side of the pool. And they know if something were to happen, if a friend falls in, you throw, you don't go. So throwing in a buoy should one of the kids need help, and like teaching your children to be able to do that for their friends if they need it. And maybe mentioning it to like kids that come over when they're playing in the pool, like just so everyone knows if someone needs help, throw, don't go, throw this buoy to them and come find an adult immediately. Because oftentimes like a child might like grab onto the other child and suddenly like both of them are going down. And then I'm trying to think, emptying the toys out of the pool when you're done, so kids aren't like wanting to get back in the water when like during non-swimming time. That's oftentimes like when accidents happen. And then we always say have a water guardian. So like if like we get together with friends and there's a lot of adults and everyone assumes everyone is watching the pool when in fact I feel like there's less eyes on the pool. So we actually have these badges that we pass out at Goldfish. If you ever want one, stop by the front desk. A water watcher badge that like one person is wearing, and you know that your job at that time is to have eyes on the pool, no distractions, so have your phone away. and then like tag parents out. So do it in like 15-minute increments of like, okay, I'm watching the pool, and then when I'm done, I pass it to the next mom. And just take turns, but so that someone is like very diligently watching the kids in the pool. I like trying to
That's
think of if there's
great.
anything else I have, but those are like, I feel like some of my main ones with pools.
Oh, that's
That's really
brilliant.
And
good to
then
have in our back pockets for sure.
I know I mentioned life jackets earlier too. So if you are getting life jackets for your kids, to focus on when you're purchasing it, make sure it's a Coast Guard approved. So it'll say US Coast Guard approved on it. And basically that stamp of approval means they'll be floating in the proper position to save their life should anything happen. If it doesn't say US Coast Guard approved, they may not be floating properly to be able to breathe or whatnot. So like there are puddle jumpers that are US Coast Guard approved. I feel like a lot of people say like puddle jumpers aren't good, but that's not true. If it is US Coast Guard approved, and it will put them in the proper position to be okay alone in the.
Do you think most life jackets are approved, or is it pretty slim pickings?
So I would say most of them are, but okay, as a first time mom, I'm like, I'm gonna get all of the cute things. I ordered our daughter like a pink life jacket and didn't even think to look because I assumed everything would be. And we got it. And of course, as I like, no, I get it. And I'm like looking for it. Nowhere on it does it say. And it's like, yes, it's cute. And it has a little fin in the back and all the things. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I like start to research more. And there are so many out there. Oftentimes, if it is aesthetically pleasing, it is not US Coast Guard approved.
Darn.
So yeah, look for the tacky ones. Yeah.
Oh, I like that though. I do find so I live in Australia, right next to the beach, and I find that like water safety here is a different level than I experienced, like especially in Phoenix. Like by law here, you can't build a pool without a gate around the door, and every single exit of the home has to have a sliding door that auto shuts with a lock. Like, and every year they're inspecting the houses to make sure they have that. So like that's a number one thing, and that's whether that's rural or on the coast or in a city. It's like a law. So I find that to be like a really refreshing thing that I think should be mandatory. I don't know how you do that, but like there's a lot of council rules on how, like before you do a pool, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of some of the steps. But I mean, like they have kids here in swim lessons, super young. And every time you go down to the beach, there's this really cute thing. It's called nippers. And it starts at age 4, and it's all ocean safety for kids. Again, starting at age 4, but it's how to get out of the rip. It's swimming out to the buoy with with the lifeguards and coast guards. And you go out on the surfboards, boogie boards. They teach you how to like flip over and how to ride the like rip current, which is what you said you were like the undertow, but like the rip. They kind of teach you how to go along the shore. And so all these things. And as a parent, I just watch them all sit on the beach going, oh my God, my kid's 4 years old and they're asking them to go in the rip. But I think like exposure to those things early on and teaching them how to kind of handle those adversities. If you are going to be surfing, if you are going to try paddleboarding, even if it's scary in that moment, knowing that someone's watching, teaching you how to do it so you can kind of overcome that over time is so critical. But man, Cooper's not quite at that age yet, but I've gone down with a couple friends and my heart is in my pants the entire time. Like, oh my God, the kid's in the rib, watch. And like, again, there is a lifeguard on a surfboard right next to them, watching them get dragged out. But they're teaching them to go out with the rip, not fighting it. And then you swim horizontal to the beach in order to get out of the rip current. So if you didn't know, that's kind of how you get out of it. Crazy. It's crazy.
So amazing that is an educational resource for you guys. Also, I'm obsessed with the laws of the pools. I'm like, how do we not have that here in Arizona?
Oh, that's just something that I think should be a thing, like an advocate, right?
Who do we need to talk to?
I write to someone, mayor, write to someone, because like it should be like if you're installing a new pool in a home, in order to get that final stamp of approval or whatever, it should be something like that. Like those checks and balances should be in place. I mean, we actually just went to a friend's house who's in his 60s. They don't have kids. They'll never have kids. And they have a gate around their pool. And again, they're in their 60s. Aesthetically pleasing, no. But he's like, it's just the rule. It is what it is. And he probably could take it down without getting in trouble. But he's like, no, like it's a no-brainer. If Cooper ever comes over now, I know that he's safe. And I'm like, thank you for that.
Yes.
Well, that's amazing. I'll look into it, you guys. Put it on me.
Please keep us posted. You're in charge here.
Okay, will do. Yeah.
Oh man, I know, because like I think as our kiddos get a little bit older, we're approaching Dana, we're starting to get into the 70s and 80s already, and it's not even March yet. So I'm already thinking like, oh yeah, it's pool time. And so with Chloe getting more comfortable, I'm like imagining us inviting more friends over soon, and having some pool time. And now that she's older, she's going to want to be in the water more. And so those tips that you gave, I'm definitely putting in my back pocket because I haven't been able to fully, have this whole scenario play out to where I might need them. And, we did have Chloe in the pool in the past, but now it's like we're actually going to be pretty active. So thank you for sharing those because I think anyone and everyone can definitely hold on to those.
Yes, of course. I know. Also, I'm like, also no shame in getting a lifeguard if you guys are having a big party too and you're feeling overwhelmed, like with the responsibility of your pool. I know, like, I'm sure our lifeguards would love to have, a little gig on the side, but I feel like there's lifeguards everywhere. Busy Bees, I just found out that you can like hire a lifeguard to come over and like watch the pool if you have a party. So that's always
Good to
another
know.
option if you're feeling like super anxious and like liable about having a big group around your pool.
Yeah, especially like, yeah, if it's an actual big party, like let's say it's a birthday party or something. I think that's genius. I didn't even think of that either. So perfect. And then like as far as, okay, so we covered a lot of safety stuff and all those logistics, but like as far as socializing goes, because this podcast, a lot of it has to do with friendships and like motherhood and really bonding. And obviously Peyton and I met so organically through Goldfish Swim School, which I'm obsessed with. So do you guys also host like more social events like on a Friday each month or every other month you guys have a little free swim thing or tell us about that?
So we do have our normal, like ongoing weekly family swims, and we do have families that come in every week, which is super fun to see. Those are Tuesday, Wednesday, 12 to 1, and then Sundays from 1 to 2. So it's kind of in the middle of like our nap time right now. So I'm going to be honest, times aren't ideal unless you have older kids. But we also love to like bring people in the community together. So like we'll host like new mom, like what did we call it? Babies who brunch. So we had new moms come in and had like bagels and hung out and they all got to meet each other. And then we did like a little mini lesson in the water and just kind of tried to introduce the babies to water. And like our general manager at the Gilbert location is a foster mom and super passionate about that community. So we've had like foster moms come in and done like a foster family swim. So we are always trying to like bring people together. So I'm like, if you guys ever have any ideas or any communities that you are a part of, Alaina, and you would like to like, we can host it at Goldfish. We kind of love doing that. Love to be like a safe space to like have moms meet and like bond outside of some lessons, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get the wheels turning. I love that
idea.
idea.
Yeah, we actually are hosting water safety days over the next like 2 months. So ours at Gilbert is March 1st. And then there's the Goldfish Swim School in Ahwatukee and the one in North Scottsdale, and they're having safety days as well. So we're having a couple different vendors come in to talk about like other kinds of safety in our lives for our children, like car seat safety. We'll have the fire department, the police department. Like last year, we had someone come and talk about skin safety and the importance of sunscreen and our dental health. So it's a fun like get together. It's family swim. We always have fun like raffles and just another good place to meet other families.
Love it. Fun. I feel like even though those some of those events or activities are obviously very focused on like health and safety, but I feel like anyone who comes to those, we're all there for the same reason. And like you all have kids, you all have something in common. So I think you could totally bond and like still somewhat socialize for those types of things.
Yes, for sure.
Going into those things with open mind and excited to meet other people. And again, you might meet your best friend there like I did.
Totally.
There you go.
I know. And now I feel like our kids gravitate towards other kids too. And it's like such a icebreaker for us moms, It's like our kids like introduce us, which I love. I feel like some of our good friends we know through like our kids already at like daycare. So I love it.
I know this age is so fun because I'm literally witnessing Chloe start to actually engage and socialize. So I'm just having a blast over here because now she doesn't have to have me on the playground with her all the time. Yeah. And now she can actually like go just stare at some other kid, whether they're actually talking to each other or not. But I'm like, go do your thing, girl.
Totally.
And then, so you mentioned like obviously life jackets and sunscreen. Is there anything that any like products in general? It doesn't have to be like sun or water related, but like Peyton and I usually do a little segment on our show called Moment. So we give a little moment for a product we genuinely recommend. So do you have anything up your sleeve that you want to give a little shout out for?
I love that. That is so cute, you guys. And I do actually. Have you heard of a Solar Buddy? It is like a
Mm-mm.
sunscreen applicator. It has changed my life. So I always go for like the spray sunscreens because they're like way easier to apply. And like I always
Yeah.
struggled with the face because I feel like, I don't know. So this is like, it opens up and you put in your liquid sunscreen, whatever sunscreen you use, like a mineral sunscreen, whatever, fill it. And then it has like a sponge and like a ball. So you literally can like roll it all over their body and it like applies so evenly and so good. And your hands are not covered in sunscreen and like you don't really miss a spot on your child as easy. So
I'm getting that right now.
it is
What's the
literally
name again?
amazing. Solar Buddy. It's on
Love it.
Amazon. They're like these cute little like things that come apart. I
Awesome.
can
And
send
we
you the
link
link. Yeah.
everything in our, yeah, we'll link it in our
Okay.
show notes for sure.
But
Oh my
yeah,
God,
they're
that's
amazing. We love
brilliant.
it. We take ours everywhere. We have multiple.
Oh, that's good. We are in the middle of sun season here in Australia, and like there's a little hole in the ozone down here, and so the sun is so intense. And something that they do down here is no hat, no play. So if you're at the playground or you're at school, if you don't have like a full bucket hat on, you can't go to recess or whatever. And sunscreen is like applied so religiously, but I can't tell you how gunky all of your nails get by wearing
Mhm.
sunscreen all the time. So I definitely know we're going to order that and have that in the car, in the diaper bag, in the beach bag, and
Yeah,
in the school bag, just so we are always sun safe.
Genius.
fabulous.
And I'll use it on myself, honestly, too.
I do too. Absolutely.
Love
I'm like,
it.
their sunscreen is stronger than mine anyway. So here we go. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that's so good. Do you have anything you're looking forward to this summer? Big trips you're going to take, or anything that you and as a family are going to do?
So yes, we tend to summer in Wisconsin. So my husband is from Wisconsin. I'm from, again, Michigan. My accent is not nearly as bad as everyone in his family. They have like that like extreme like Wisconsin, like, you know, we are reading them this book, Max and Nana Go to the Park, and my son is already, Max falls in one of the pages and he goes, "Oh, Max." I'm like,
I'm
he's
obsessed.
like,
So
yeah,
I went to school in Chicago or right outside of
yeah.
Chicago, and one of my good friends is actually from the area, and so she has a pretty, I don't want to call it heavy, and she listens to this. Hi, Julie, I love you, but she gets called out like all the time, especially by my husband. But like I'm so used to it, so it's just like it's almost like comforting to hear the accent. But I love it.
Yes, so good. I know. I feel like my entire life it was always like, "Are you gonna go put your apples in your backpack and go to school?" Yeah, yeah.
I love
I
it. So you
love
guys are
it.
going to be going back to
So
Wisconsin.
yes, yep. We'll spend a couple months in Wisconsin. This is like our last long summer because Weston, our daughter, will start at kindergarten the following
Oh,
year. And as you know, summers are so short in Arizona. It is crazy, you guys. So yes, we'll be back here end of July for
oh my
kindergarten. So yeah,
gosh. I know.
excited to have some
I
family
just
time in
started
cooler
my
weather.
yes, yes. I'm so jealous, honestly. But I just started my girly in preschool, and so now I'm realizing the school schedule. It is so what I would consider to be wonky compared to like what we might have grown up with. So yeah.
Yes. Yes, I know yes, getting just being back here, getting them in school so early in the summer, I don't understand because everyone just wants to leave and take long trips or like week long trips and just get out. So it'll be an
Um,
adjustment for sure, but I'm sure we'll go well.
Something that's strange about Australia, but I actually kind of enjoy it. So our summer holidays here are from Christmas, so like December 15th until February 1st or February 15th. And so like it's 8 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks long, somewhere in that realm, but it's like through the whole Christmas holiday, so they call it Christmas holiday break, which is just beautiful. And like it's summer here, you have Christmas at the beach, and it's all summer holidays are just outside, and it's just beautiful. And then the start of the school year starts in the beginning of the year. And so like their calendar year aligns with their school schedule. And so it's kind of like it's different, right? Coming from Arizona, I was born and raised there, but coming here, it's like, oh, I guess it makes sense. You go back to school January, then you've got a couple months, and then you're on Easter long weekend. And so like the calendar, I guess, does follow like the normal 12, like January,
That's kind of
December.
nice.
It is kind of
Yeah.
nice, actually. So it was really nice.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Well, if
Maybe
you ever
I
want
need
to
to
come
move to
out,
Australia.
why don't you,
Yeah.
if you guys ever want to come to a holiday, come on out. We'll teach you all the things. And it's just been so great to get to know you today. So thank you.
Oh, of course. Thank you guys so much for having me on. And yes, I absolutely love what you're doing. I'm so excited to start tuning into you guys like all the time now.
Oh, thanks. And we'll have to have you back on because I think everyone could always use a refresher, and like we can always dive in into
Yeah.
more
Good
different
time.
topics too. We try. So yes, definitely a good one today. Thank you so much, and
Yeah.
we'll keep in touch.
Do you have
Sounds
any like
good.
links or any of like, do you want to plug your Instagram or your where you guys are at, or your email, or how can our followers find you and get enrolled in your swim classes?
Yes. So goldfishswimschool.com, and you can look at the location nearest to you. So if it is Gilbert, Arizona, we hope to see you soon. But any Goldfish Swim School will welcome you with open arms.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
All
thank you
right.
so much for coming on, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Mom Meets World. If you enjoyed listening, please give us a like, subscribe, and find us on Instagram at Mom Meets World Pod.
Because sometimes you just need another mom to remind you that you're getting it right more than you're getting it wrong. See you next time.